Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this episode I'll be explaining the importance of being in an active warband, so let's get into it. For this video I'll be using one of my alt accounts. We'll start off here in the Warband menu. Click here and this brings up the Warband overview. Scroll down to this section where it says Warband benefits. Warband members have 5% increased chance for items to drop from monsters while in a party together. Warbands can challenge Helicarry bosses to earn ranking rewards. And finally, successfully completing the Warband raid for the week will unlock the ability to purchase an eternal legendary crest from the crest vendor in exchange for platinum. Limit 1 per week. And basically what they're referring to is over here. If you head over to the crest merchant, one time a week you'll be able to purchase an eternal legendary crest for 1600 platinum. And you'll notice here it's currently grayed out. It's red for me because I have not been able to coordinate any raids with the current warband that I am in right now. So unfortunately that means I'm losing out on the ability to get this, and you'll see here why this is important, why you'll also be losing out if you don't get this every single week, because you have the potential to obtain a legendary gem that you could sell in the market and potentially make your money back on what you initially paid for it. So I'm sure you can see why that is very important. Okay, so let's head back on over to the Warband menu here, and we'll go over a few things real quick. So some things I just want to point out. So if we have a look here under the Warband menu, under the chat, you'll notice there's no activity, no discussions, no one here communicates. Back under the Warband menu, you'll have a look here. No one bothers to assign any raids, any activities. Okay, and unfortunately what that means is this warband is pretty much dead. So let's have another look here. Another mistake that's being made here is under the Remnants. I normally like to use Protector. I also highly suggest using this one. For the reason being is because here you'll notice it has the Shepherd's Burden Remnant, which increases your life by 6.5% and your actual physical size of your character by 15%. And what that means is this is really a good buff and a benefit, because the larger that your physical character is, that means you'll have a slight speed increase, and this is very beneficial, especially when you're in challenge rifts. That extra speed boost comes in handy, and also importantly when you're in PvP activities, that comes in very handy. So the mistake that's being made here is you'll notice that here the current equipped Remnant under Protector only has 3 buffs. Here this one has 4, and we can disregard, ignore that this one has duplicates, and that's fine. So if you count the 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, well, the better option would be to equip this set of Remnants and to replace it with this one, because by doing so, now any Warband members that use the Protector Remnant will get an additional buff. But in this case here, the leader is neglecting to manage this and to swap these out. It's the same thing with the attacker, same issue here. Note that any of these that are grayed out, that means that's not for this section here. That's under the Protector. So in this case here, since this set of Remnants is equipped, whoever has chosen this attacker buff is only getting 2 buffs out of this. So again, the better option would be to equip this one down here, because now you're going to get 4 remnants for the buffs instead of the 2 up here. Do make note that also what is being neglected here is the remnants aren't being cleared out. That's why this number is in red. So technically what that means is the Warband leader should take the time to come in and to choose the best remnants and get rid of any others that aren't really being used to make room for new remnants. In this case here, for the support, this one looks to be okay. Yeah, because here you have 4, and looks like the highest set of remnants would be down here, would be the set of 3, but I always say it's better to go with the 4 because you're going to get 4 extra buffs instead of 3, so that is correct. Yeah, looks like here is also a mistake. This should also be switched out for anyone who may want to go with the survivor remnant selection. Again, this would be the better option to go with because since here you'll have 4 buffs versus the 3. So I think the better solution would be to swap these out and equip the set of remnants that has the 4 buffs rather than the 3. So that's another mistake that's being made. One final mistake that's being made, let's go directly into Castle Cangar and I'll show you there directly. So if we come into Castle Cangar, we click on the Warband stash, and here is where all the collection of items that each Warband member has donated. And you'll notice a lot of these, they're really low score. So for example, you'll notice here, the one on the right is what I have equipped. This is already 1800 plus combat rating, but yet this one is only 1369. So essentially that's useless. Let's take a look here. See, same thing with this one. Again, it's not any better than what I currently have equipped. So this shouldn't even actually be in here. This should be discarded. So what that means is the leader of the warband should come in to cleanse this out. And the best way to do that is if you click here on this little icon that brings up this menu, and whoever the warband leader is has the option to set these at a certain level. You notice if I try to do it, it will tell me that I can't do that. But essentially what you'd want to do is you'd want to increase this level to about here. And you basically want to base that on whatever the levels of your members are. So you can see here, the highest member here is at Paragon level 338, and the lowest member here is 263. So you'll want to adjust that to whatever the typically the highest level is. That would be the most ideal. The next mistake being made here in this particular warband is that you'll notice here 3 people are missing, and that's not benefiting anyone at all. And then finally, the last mistake is the difference in the Paragon levels between the current members here. So again, you'll see this player is 338 and the lowest member down here is 263. And what I mean by that is if we exit here and if we head back over to the demonic portal, we'll have a look here. And what that means is referring to this here. So for example, let's just say Hell 3 at the first boss, if you need 22,520 combat rating to be able to complete this boss. Well, what that means is this particular player is not going to be able to do that simply because he's not going to have the required combat rating for it, because you'll notice here he has 31,891. Come back here and click on the portal. Let's go to Hell 3 and the first boss. So you see he will be able to do this one, but once he gets to here he will not have the required combat rating to be able to complete this boss. What that means is if you're in a warband with other players and they're higher level than you, if they're going to be helping this player out doing this reward, that means they're essentially carrying them through the raid, which means they'll be dying a lot. Or if they want to sacrifice, and if they've already done their raids at their highest Heliquary level, they can help this player here, but they won't get so much rewards since they're helping this guy here. So it's not really beneficial. All of this is really counterproductive. So what this all boils down to is, if we come back under here, under the Warband menu, click on the first tab here, click on Ancestral Tableau, and it's referring to these stats right here. Okay, so essentially by being in a warband, you're getting these combat bonuses here and all these boosts. If you click on this icon here, it opens up this, and this tells you exactly what that means. So when your Ancestral Tableau's total combat rating bonus is less than 90% of the server's Ancestral Tableau, the stats gained for an upgrade are increased based on your bonus multiplier. So our current Tableau is at 1057, but the average server Ancestral Tableau is at 1116 combat rating. So you do the math yourself. So 1116 minus 1057, and basically that's what we're losing out on. So basically at this point it's almost useless for me to stay in this warband. It's not really much benefit to me. It's actually holding me back, but since this is my alt, it's not so much of a big deal. And what that also is referring to is here, the Warband points are up here. Each week you get 1,000 points to acquire. However, the maximum is 1,500. What that means is these points are again referring to the Ancestral Tableau, which is right down here. Each time you acquire 300 Warband points, you get to upgrade this to the next level. Generally, it's about every 2 points this will be upgraded. And what that means is there's particular ways that you can accumulate these Warband points. You can do that through bounties. If you open up your codex, click on activities, click here. Anything with this icon, that means Warband activity. So it's a Warband point. By completing that, you'll get Warband points from here. Scroll down a little bit to random dungeons. You'll also get them from here. And the reason why you'll get them also now from random dungeons is because of the recent update to where they made it available to still accumulate these Warband points as long as you're in a party with other players who are in their own warbands. So you'll now accumulate these points from there, in contrast to the old system where you would only get those points where if you were only doing these activities with your current warband. So same thing over here with the Elder Rift. You'll see here, you'll get Warband points also from doing Elder Rifts. Scroll down a little further, you'll see here other certain activities will also reward you with Warband activity. Primarily the dungeons. Anything again with this icon, you'll see you'll get Warband activity points. And this is what you want. Because the more Warband points that you get, the quicker that you will be able to upgrade your Ancestral Tableau, and essentially that means your combat rating will increase overall. So if we take a look at our own stats here, that's referring to these numbers here and these values. So that's why that's very important. So what that means is if you're not doing raids with your warband, at the very minimum, at least one warband raid per week, then you're missing out on a lot of potential and a lot of combat stats. And again here, if we click on the demonic portal, it tells us right here. Again, this is the voucher that we were referring to in the beginning of the video. This is lit up because I have not been able to successfully coordinate a raid with my Warband, so I've not been able to acquire this voucher yet. And you'll note that it says here that Warband Rewards requires at least a minimum of 4 members, but that means in order to get this, you have to do these raids with your Warband members. You won't get that if you do that in a public raid with other players who are in their own warbands. That will not count, and it will not unlock that voucher. You need to do this with your own warband, and that's the difficulty currently. Is it if you're in a warband that they are not very active, they're basically extinct or missing players, like you see here, or if there's no communication, no one chats, no one talks, there's no discussions about anything, there's no activities, nothing planned. Yeah, those are really bad, and that's really not helping you at all. So like I said, essentially this is really preventing you from leveling your character and progressing further. The reason why you also want to do these activities with your warband is because you see, once you do that, you will accumulate these at a much faster rate. If we come back under the codex, you will still get these Warband points from here, but at a much lower rate. So you'll still want to do these as part of your daily activities, of course, because you still have your battle pass to max out, which is always going to be the 2400 points. So you'll still always want to cap this out every single week, and to also get your Warband points. But again, it's highly beneficial when you're doing those raids, if you can, or the dungeons, even better, with your Warband, because you'll accumulate these at a much faster rate. And you also want to make sure that you're capping this out every week as well, because like we said, if we come back over to the Crest Merchant, every week you're going to be acquiring a free legendary crest. Well, not necessarily free, but yeah, you still have to pay the 1600 platinum for it. But if you figure, if we take a look back here, we still will acquire platinum, because mathematically speaking, at every 120 battle pass points, you will acquire 300 platinum. Well, if we multiply that by, let's say, 5, that will give us 1500 platinum, which is enough to be able to purchase the Eternal Legendary Quest, and minus 100 points for the 16 to make it total. And that's easily doable within 1 week's time, because that's only 600 points you're going to be doing here for battle pass points to get 1500 platinum. So most average players can do that within about 7 days. So I think you can see the importance of that. So again, that was the primary focus of this video. So I hope this has helped you out in making a decision on knowing how to choose a proper warband, or if you're not in the warband, definitely try to get one as soon as you can. Otherwise, you're missing out on all these rewards and the potential increase in combat rating that you actually could be currently having right now, versus if you were not in a warband, or if you're in a dead warband, or one that's inactive, as I've shown you here today. Alright guys, so that's all I have for you today. So as always, I thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.